Hello everybody and welcome to episode 8 of the Let's Face It podcast. This is my journey with Cathal McShane. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Team Kit in Ballymena. They provide you with schoolwear, workwear, training wear and of course teamwear as well. So hit them up on teamkit.com for all your sporting needs, and they're on Instagram and Facebook there as well. And the Kearneys are great supporters of Let's Face It, and all their support so far the last couple of months is greatly appreciated. So thanks to Niall and the rest of them for I really appreciate it, and it wouldn't be possible without them. So yeah, welcome Cathal, what's the crack?
Cheers Donald, good to be here. No, very little. Obviously just training away, playing away, working away, trying to keep busy. So just keep going. That's the main thing.
Yeah, staying out of trouble. No, but suppose we're going to go through your journey, and for those who don't know Cathal is probably one of the biggest stars now within football in the country. He's made it to the very top, All Ireland medal, Segregation medal, All Star. You know, he's been there and done it. He's wore the t-shirt, but me and Cathal actually know each other, and I think that was the first time we actually interacted with each other. Cathal was in a 6-year football match up in Garvaki.
Oh, I think I remember that.
We played like Division 4 football for our school.
You were throwing your weight about as well.
No, you were acting like that. No. What happened was, it was a Division 4 match, so a thrown footballer comes up thinking, right, I'm going to lord it here, and then you met me and I beat you up. That's basically what happened.
Well, to be honest, I actually remember that. It was actually typical. It was weather too in school. Like it was snowing, and I think we played in the 3G out the back of Garvaghy. And for anyone that's been in Garvaghy, you know the wind and the weather's not always the best. But that was actually, it was, I can't mind what, I think we were playing O'Doherty Cup or something out there. It was a lower level, but the thing that always stuck out for me at that was no matter what, I was out there with my friends and looking to do my best and try and achieve. And even with that level, I think, like, you know, me and you, I think you were in the hurling team for the college All Stars, but like even for me playing that level at O'Doherty Cup, you know, I managed to pick up a college All-Star, so that was a big achievement for Holy Cross. It was the first ever college All-Star, and I just remember obviously the night at the awards that you were in the hurling team for midfield, I think, and then I was in the Gaelic team as well. So no, we've been through a lot. We've played against each other, we've played with each other, and we've been through a lot.
So I think that was upper sixth, and you mentioned the colleges All-Stars, and for people who are listening probably have a gist of my story of what happened to me then. So we're 18, we're going into, and then all of a sudden I walk into the ranch one day in the RPE class, and we're both in the same class, and I was like, Jesus, this class, and we both got to know each other. It was good crack, and at that stage, like, I loved hurling so much, and it meant the absolute world to me, playing with Antrim seniors, you're playing with Tyrone seniors, like both probably at a level playing field in both of their sports and the way we're going on with our careers and wanting to do well. And the university life can have an impact on people, and I had one impact on me due to things that were going on in my personal life, and I had another impact on you, and that's probably what I wanted to start on and talk about. Like going into that university sort of life and the lifestyle of it, and I suppose thinking back, you associated yourself with like other footballers and stuff like that, whereas I sort of went the other way and spent most of the time sitting in cafes instead of going to class. But it's all funny at the time, and obviously it spelled out of control. But what was that sort of stepping from that transition from school to where everyone loves you in Holy Cross, going into university? And it is such a, it's a dangerous nearly place, because you're going from your comforts to your school to your friends into this big bad world, into this city, into whatever. What was that transition like for you?
There's obviously a lot of uncertainty in it, and again, it's even going from when you set off on your first journey to Belfast, they try and pick a house with a few friends, and you're trying to pick the right group, because you don't want to be going to Belfast and living with, you know, a couple of guys that maybe would be distracting you or maybe leading you astray. And I know that's a massive challenge for everybody, but again, within the moment and within all the excitement of maybe, you know, getting your grades and the buzz is there, you've been accepted by the university and all the rest, you maybe don't consider those maybe more important details. But I think I was lucky. I was coming from a sporting background where there was a big commitment. I obviously had the Tyrone Minors and stuff. I was involved there, and I knew, you know, if I wanted to get to the top level, that I would have to go to Belfast and sort of behave and, you know, really focus on what's important. But whenever I went to Belfast, I was lucky enough that I got on with a couple of good lads that were local to myself. I just give them a shout out, Adrian Maxwell and Danny Lynch. But lived with them in Belfast. But again, like uni was a different experience for me, because I remember nights them heading out, and I just had to sit in, and you know, obviously. In the house, lonely myself, playing, you know, PlayStation, FIFA, whatever I was doing. But those were the sacrifices I had to make as well. I would say my uni experience is a lot different to so many others in terms of all of that. But I'm kind of lucky in a way that I had Tyrone, I had my club, because obviously my focus was so much on that it helped me in a way. You know, it helped me, you know, make smarter decisions, and it helped me stay within an environment that I was happy with. And like, you know, you're training only yourself, you're training 3-4 nights a week, whatever it is. So you can't really, if you want to achieve, and you know, at the top level or whatever, you can't really be, you know, going out partying 3 or 4 nights a week in Belfast and stuff like this. So that was always in my mind. My friends were doing it, but I was able to stay in the straight line. And obviously I had my partner Caitlin as well, she was about, and different things, so that helped. But no, university was definitely a big step up. And again, even going into some areas and seeing, meeting new faces and meeting men like yourself, and you know, it's definitely a great experience. It's one that everyone should enjoy, but there is wee challenges there too that you also have to be aware of. Yeah,
and then and I suppose you mentioned it there about maybe just taking yourself away from them possible distractions that may come your way. And maybe just isolating yourself, and that can be lonely too at times, but people don't sort of see that side to successful people, that they might see their Facebook or their Instagram and see that they're doing class and have so many thousand followers and they're getting all this, but the sacrifices that you have had to make, especially you just saying there about your university experience is probably a lot different to a lot of other people's, because you did recognise that you had to make the sacrifices to get to the top.
It's actually, like, if I'm being honest, see, whenever the year we won the Segregation, I probably wasn't enjoying my uni year, to be honest. I was actually just sort of thinking, like, is this exactly what I want to do? Because I think this year I was actually travelling. So the first 2 years I'd stayed up, and you know, obviously I'd been in, but again, with kind of the experience I got from that, the year that we won the Segregation, I was doing a bit of travelling and up and down, so that's near 35-40 minutes, and I just wasn't sure if I was enjoying that. I actually had doubts, but I guess Sigerson's kind of saved that for me that year, because obviously with the sporting career, the sporting element of some areas, like, it's lucky that there's a good vibe in there, there's a togetherness, the boys are, you know, tight-knit, they're close, and that definitely helped. But I remember that year just having sort of thoughts about, even, you know, should I maybe drop out here, or should I keep going, or what should I do? There was just uncertainty, but I guess then obviously it was just meant to be that we were to go on that year and won the Segregation and stuff. So that probably team environment, getting around your friends, you know, chatting, having conversations and stuff, that probably helped me make my final choice on that. But it was a tough year that year, but it obviously ended pretty well then.
That's class. And I think that you did give it the chance and you pushed on, like, whereas the first opportunity that uni was actually annoying me, or like got to me, it was like, F this, and went to the pub, and then I just got involved in them circles, I suppose, and I probably lasted, I don't even think I finished the actual year out in first year, but and then of course a year later, I think it was maybe 2 years later, like, you go on and I'm sitting watching you. I was actually in a pub, and I remember it's clear as day watching the Segregation Cup final, and you playing, and a few of my mates obviously from uni, and then Fitzy and a few of my mates from the club and stuff were playing, and I couldn't help but look on. Now I was in a bad place at this time, but I couldn't help but look on and be okay. I was happy for you, but I was also jealous that you did go on and do that, and I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. But what was, for those listeners who are involved in the GA and stuff, will probably want to hear more about the Segregation experience, and like, to put it into context, St Mary's University is like a school nearly in terms of the numbers. Going to playing against like a DCU and a UCD and these big colleges is like, to put it in the it's like Antrim going to play in Tyrone in a championship game. Like, that's the dynamic of it. And for you to go on and win that Segregation, how special did that make you feel?
It was unbelievable. It's right up there. I put it right up there with all my achievements to date. Like, it was something unique, it was something special, and just for the group of lads that pulled together, along with the help of the management and backroom team, it was just a special achievement. And I think the thing for us was we had maybe 25 to 30 players to choose from, and that's being realistic. Like, we had out of that 25-30 players, you had to pick a good starting 15, and then you obviously were hoping for 2 or 3 men to come on and make an impact. And again, as you mentioned there, if you compare that to Cork or the DCU, they have hundreds of Gaelic footballers, which you know
they're county for Gaelic footballers.
They're probably every one of them is probably a county footballer, and then you know. Like they're probably holding trials and 2 or 3 4 or 5 weeks to try and pick their final squad and team. But again, we're just completely opposite. There were some players in their team that might not even have started for their club team, and that's no disrespect to them, but it's just the truth. They would tell you that themselves. But in terms of their commitment and their attitude, that just raised our performance so much. Like I can just think back to the Segregation final. Like we were up against it in the second half. We had got a terrible start, and we were coming out to play in second half against a big breeze. And again, when you have Jack McCaffrey not on the bout, it's a tough task. But I just even remember all the subs and people didn't make the panel. They just were standing outside cheering us on when we came out. It was kind of a surprise. I know people might think it's a big thing, but it was just something that maybe just showed the spirit of the ranch and St Mary's. And them boys, didn't matter if they weren't starting or what part they played, they were just there to drive us on. And it was a crazy experience, even the Segregation weekend itself and stuff. But one of the games that stands out to me is the qualifying for the weekend down in DCU, because that nearly felt the feeling getting over that game down in DCU. It was nearly better than the actual Segregation weekend itself, if you get me. But we were leading the whole game, and we kind of fell behind with a few minutes to go, and we nicked the last minute goal and went to extra time. We came out on top, and the celebrations after that were amazing. So just a crazy roller coaster of a journey, but I guess the spirit with St Mary's is always there. It doesn't matter who was going out to play or taking the field, you always believed you had a chance to win, and that was so special.
Class. And how much does that have to do with Paddy Tally? I know he's just recently won. He was on the backroom team on the Kerry backroom team there at 1-0 Ireland last week. How important was he to all that?
Absolutely, immense. I can think back to just some of the stuff that he was doing with us in terms of training, some of the drills and different things, and you could just clearly, I know that's probably the aim of every manager, you train what you want to take out onto the field, but that's always not the case. Whereas in with Paddy Tally trained more than enough, it came off in the field, you could see it coming off, and you were like, that's why we trained that. Like I can just even think of some of the scores we got against Cork, the first game of the weekend at Segregation. Some of those scores at vital moments were down to drills and set plays that we were doing. So no, very, very, can't speak high enough of Paddy. The experience from training, how we played our matches was brilliant. You had, Gavin in there as well. You had Archie. You had a psychologist as well. So Cian Kearney as well is brilliant. So together we really pulled together, and it was amazing what we achieved.
Class. And then I suppose, even you talking about it, you can tell you're actually excited about it, and it makes you feel happy. But. And I suppose for anyone, we're in the summer now, there's lads and girls, of course, getting ready to hit university and stuff in September, which is not that far away. How describe or put more emphasis, maybe, is the word that I'm looking for, on the good that being involved, not just in football, but in being involved in sort of team sports or extracurricular activities within a university setting. How important is that?
Yeah, well, I think that just that opportunity to meet new friends and really, get that togetherness is key. That's one of the biggest things for me in sport is obviously the friendships and the enjoyment you get out of creating those new friendships and whatnot. And again, just the opportunities that come along with it, like the days away down to Dublin, Cork, wherever you're going to play the games. And here, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that at the start I was mentioning about heading out and stuff. We did.
I enjoyed it too.
You did enjoy it. You did get nights out, but obviously you had to be careful just with what was coming. But even you can just think about maybe team days away and stuff and different things like that. But it's just all about getting that friendship, that the development relationships. And I was even just saying there, I met up with a few of the guys from uni there last week. We just done a gym session and grab the coffee, so it's not just, you're not just developing relationships for the 2 or 3 or 4 years you're there, you're maybe making friends for life as well. So it is important for anyone that's stepping into uni. You just don't, you have to be, obviously go and enjoy it and give it your all, but be cautious too that there is maybe downsides to it that you need to be prepared for. It's just like everyday life, there's never, I always speak about the, getting to the top. You'll never get to the top in straight lines. It's you'll veer off the left, you'll veer off the right. It was actually the famous Irish rugby player Anderson. He met us one day with the Segregation team, and he had basically said about success. You'll never get the top straight away. You'll have to veer off the left. You'll have setbacks, and you'll just have to keep persevering, keep going, and you will get there. But I guess that's just an everyday life as well. I don't know. Everybody faces obstacles, and they have setbacks and stuff. But it's just important you keep going, keep persevering, and you will get there.
Yeah, it's how you bounce back and deal with those, I suppose. Yeah, so we're talking about university for the last while, and big thing here, I ended up within a year probably in rehab. You ended up an all-star in football. Probably that year I can think of anyway was what was it?
2018 was it?
18 was it?
The year that
you were playing
the host. 2019.
2019. Yeah. So 2019. So that would make sense. I went into QMR on the 10th of June 19, and you got your all-star. Then that in 2018, and you were absolutely lording it. And that's a different path we went on, I suppose, out of the back of university. And not saying the reason why I was in rehab was in university, but that transition, I definitely found it difficult. And I suppose it surfaced a lot of my own personal problems, and I'm glad that I went and got them sorted, and we're back now. But no, and we're talking about different things that that are put on our plate, right? Yeah. And you went that year of 2019. You were the best footballer in the country. Fact. And you were class, and then all of a sudden all this hype comes. Did you get your injury at the back of that year? Sorry.
No, it was probably then was we were entering the next year.
Right, so entering the next year
back and then with Tyrone,
bang, you get this ankle injury, and you mentioned there it was 502 days. 503 days of absolute. It was a nightmare. Tell me a wee bit more about the injury and how that made you feel. Obviously, physically you couldn't play, but I suppose between your 2 years, how did you find that? Was it tough, challenging?
To be honest, it was very, very tough. A lot of, again, I've said this before, but a lot of dark days, and just for that 2019 year, when everything's going so well, and
so high.
It doesn't matter what you're doing in the field, it's just coming off, and the confidence is flying, and everything's going well in training and matches and the team environment and stuff like that. It's fantastic. And obviously then there's a few things happened after that year, 2019, that obviously had to sort out and fix or whatever. But then it was back, decided Tyrone was where I wanted to be playing, and because again, growing up as a kid, I always loved playing with Tyrone, and that was what I dreamed of, and I just knew that was always going to be what I wanted to do. But I suffered injury, which was a freak accident, and it is what it is, unfortunately. But I had to deal with that then, and there was a lot of dark days. It's just even. I had a bit of a setback. I was told that, this was what was wrong, went in to get it fixed and all the rest. But then when I was doing my rehab, I just wasn't getting any progress. So I had to go for another second operation. So it was nearly like a massive setback. I got myself into really good shape, preparing to come back. And then next thing you're just told that you may put that off for another while yet. So I was lucky in many ways, because there was positives and negatives, because obviously we were in COVID, we're locked down and COVID was here. So I wasn't missing any matches, or, the Tyrone, I think at the end of the day I only missed maybe 6 matches with Tyrone or something like that, and that's crazy when you think you're out 503 days. Yeah. But there was just a lot of dull days, days just wanting to be yourself or whatever, just feeling down and things. I remember leaving the gym days and just on the way back, I'd have been in the gym and I would have been in there 5 minutes, and I realised this isn't working today. So what, I had to go home, and you're on the way home, and next thing you'd just be crying in the car or something. You know what I mean? It would just be something like that, where you just don't know what's happening, or why is this had to be me, or why does this have to happen or whatever. But I guess I just had to keep persevering and keep going. I could even think of days just because the thing was, any time I stepped out of the house, the only thing everybody wanted to chat about was injury. How you coming? How you getting on? How you recovering and stuff? And I know I greatly appreciate that, because it showed people cared and showed people that were interested to see how I was coming on. Whenever maybe I was having bad days, it was kind of slightly annoying. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that in a bad way. I can relate to it, definitely, yeah. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I just mean, as in, people just wanted to constantly talk about it, and that kind of was getting at me. It was just eating away at me. And then just even days, your best friends would be phoning you and stuff, and you just literally would stare at the phone and just not want to answer it, because you just know that you know, I've probably never really told anyone either, but it's just days you would just be ignoring maybe phone calls and stuff because you don't want to talk about it. And again, it's kind of where I was lucky. I always say that I had my family and my, you know, Cathal, my girlfriend and stuff. She was brilliant throughout that time, and then whenever you do get chatting to your friends and speaking, like I realised that there is more to it, and I just had to accept my circumstances. And once I done that, I felt that, you know, I was able to get good joy and make good progress, and you know, I'm delighted to be where I'm at today. There was lots of doubts maybe that I might never play Gaelic football again. So, yeah, I'm happy where I'm at now. But again, it's I know I need to improve and get better as well.
And I suppose like injuries, like it's a big thing now in the GA, especially like cruciates and ACLs, and there's lots of things happening here, and it seems to be just the way athletes are training now. There just seems to be these fucking like injuries that could just be career defining, and all of a sudden it's affecting people's mental well-being, and you say you don't want to speak to people and they want to be alone, and like especially off the back of you having probably the best year of your life in terms of football. Everybody talking about you, your name in the back of the paper every day of the week, like. So you're going from that big high to that drastic low. Obviously there's going to be a change in your mood and how you feel about yourself, and you're going to feel sorry about yourself, like that's the thing. But whenever you did feel low, and I'm sure there's a lot of people listening now who are feeling low with injuries and stuff like that, did you ever go and speak to anybody about it, or did you ever go and tell someone how you were actually feeling or how it was affecting you mentally?
No, I would definitely. It came a stage where I had to, like, you know, and that's kind of where I just realised that if I'm sort of, because whenever you're in lockdown and you're in, like, it's obviously an experience I never had before. So you're often, a lot of it was, you know, you're in the gym in the morning. I had a gym set up at the house, so I was able to work away morning, noon and night, like, and I found, like, obviously that's, you know, before if I'm going to the gym, whatever, I'm going with 2 or 3 guys and the tunes are pumping and there's a feel good factor and stuff, where this was that was kind of different. Not only was I doing the gym myself, but I was also injured. So there's sort of downsides that, but then once things started to, you know, pick up, you know, you obviously spoke to your close friends, you know, Caitlin, my family as well, my club on Rose, they were good help as well. So whenever you realise that you can look out there is so many people you can speak to, and so many people that want to see you do well. Like it was actually amazing whenever I did get back and get playing, and you know, just back in the Ireland and stuff. It was just amazing to see the support from your friends and from your close knit friends, especially. Like they just seen where I had been, where I'd come from, and they were just so delighted for me to get back out to Croke Park and obviously pick up Sam Maguire and stuff. But it was nice just to obviously have that to rely on, and you know, I found whenever I spoke out that they were always there to help and drive me on. So, you know, without my club, my family, my close friends, and even my work too as well, Keystone, like, and chatting to them and speaking to them and stuff, they were a big help. So just from what I would take from that is it's just so important that you always speak out and get that help. Yeah, and that's class. And I suppose I've talked about it before, about having light at the end of the tunnel, and you doing your rehab and stuff, and you mentioned there about winning Sam and doing them gym sessions on your own in the house, not being surrounded by friends. Did you have that wee glimmer of hope in your head, or that wee light at the end of the tunnel, that this is going to be worth it because we're going to the top here? Well, obviously, like, you're in that situation, and I would like to think I'm a very positive person, always visualising and seeing things, and I'm not going to lie, I did visualise myself. Didn't really know what it actually looked like, but I was just sort of visualising different moments of us winning Sam and the celebrations, and you know, being pitch side and, you know, celebrating your teammates and seeing your family and seeing your friends and stuff, and 100% I visualised that, and it's just that's why then I think even the moment that summed it up for me was when the final also went. I just sort of dropped to my knees, because I was like, you know, this is I've seen this before, and this is what I dreamed of, and it's coming true, and that was amazing. I guess from me, who was again told that, you know, you might not have many days left playing football, to be back out in Croke Park, and the biggest biggest platform for all Gaelic footballers. Like, it was just a special day and a special occasion, and it's one obviously that you'll cherish, you know, for the rest of your days. Like, it's something I'll never forget. I think it was Mailer, was it? He put the diagonal ball in. Was it Mailer or Maguire? Mailer. I give Mailer a bit of stick with this, because I was like, he didn't mean to play. It was a shot. No, it was more of a diagonal pass, and he must have hit it, and I had to react to it. But No, minor. It was funny because half time we're speaking about that, and I was like, lads, I'm coming in here, so make sure if I've been watching that game, I was like, it's on, put it in there, and I'll do damage. I always say that, and I remember laughing about it after the game. They were like, you did do damage, so. Listen, it was unbelievable, but again, it's obviously in the past now, and there's been new champions, so we have to go again too.
Of course, and I wasn't going to ask you, I was going to ask you anyway. Do you think that after winning, now obviously Sam Maguire is like the pinnacle of what you can win within the GA, but I've noticed that even with small, like I won a championship at Avier in 2017, and like for the Ulster Championship we took our foot off the gas and went drinking and stuff like that because we were just happy with what we had. And then the next, like Landmark still haven't won a championship from it, and you would fully expect them to bounce on. Obviously I'm not there anymore, but you expected it. You winning, Sam, do you think that, I don't want to say celebrate it too much because obviously you deserve to celebrate and stuff, but do you think it had an impact on this year?
It's hard to put your finger on it, to be honest, because there's lots of different things that were different this year than what would be normal any other year. And the one thing stands out for me is the Ireland final was in July this year, not September. Like, so for any other year, I've been involved with Tyrone now the last 6, 7, 8 years, and not always as everything went straight, plain sailing. Where
so quick, wasn't it?
It was a lot quicker this year, and that's what I'm saying. See, if you did go through a bad spell, you had less time to react, recover, and get at it. And obviously, we had the team holding things, and we've come back in. But I guess for the last a number of years, any team that was one on Sam, they really get back in, and they still had all that time to sort of thing. And that's not making excuses. I think it's just sort of seeing the way it is. Like, and the Ireland final being in July, you'll obviously a lot less time to, if you did have a bad spell, that you could recover. Sort of way, but. It's hard to put your finger on it. We trained hard. We done. We were on the pitch. We were doing the same sessions. We were working hard. It's just this year it didn't fall for us. But again, probably could we work harder? Yeah, probably. That's being honest. But again, it's obviously an experience that we've dealt with now. We've seen how it went, and we'll look to obviously fix that going forward. Yeah,
and you mentioned fixing things, and you said there probably about 10 minutes ago that you had to fix a few things before going back in with Tyrone and stuff, and you realised that Tyrone, you grew up wanting to be a Tyrone footballer, and I'm just putting two and two together, and them things that you probably had to sort. I'm walking about with this boot, my ankle is nagging. But you're talking about fixing things, and I'm putting two and two together, and I'm thinking of the news that broke out, and I was actually looking through our messages. I forget the date, but I texted you saying, mate, if the news is true, all the very best. And you texted me back saying, I can't say too much, but thanks very much. Something like that anyway. And it was the news that Cathal McShane was going off to play Aussie rules in Australia, which was just mad. I was like, this is class, and I was buzzing for you, like, but obviously there's madness goes on, and only believe everything. Like, you had to, I don't know, there obviously was some sort of truth in it. There was a decision that had to be made from your part. Tell me a wee bit, like, how did that all come about, and what happened? Like, what?
It was strange, like, because I always think back. It was funny, like, because every game I was playing, big Harry Lohan from the Moy, like, he was just always commenting saying the AFL's watching. Like, it was just a wee personal joke between me and him, like, 4 games and stuff, and I was laughing at him, but it honestly didn't enter my head one bit, like, in terms of after, whenever I finished up at Tyrone, I was literally sitting at work, and a message comes through saying, I don't even know how the guy got my number, but maybe from a few years ago or something down at Combine Trials or something like that, but he just said basically, listen, Cal, there's an AFL club or two interested in you. He's all obviously off the back of last year, and he says that they're looking to make contact with you if that's something you're interested in. So obviously straight away I was like, I need to give this thought and consideration and stuff, but I actually said, listen, I got back maybe about a week later or whatever, just so I didn't want to jump on the thing. Obviously mentioned it there.
You're good at getting back to people, aren't you?
Well, we'll not talk too much about that. You're not too good yourself. So. No, it's so it spoke to obviously the close ones again that I would trust, and would be able to run that by, and I go back to say, listen, if it's a phone call or whatever, I'd be happy to take it or whatever. But again, I didn't hear anything. I was actually away in going to Dubai and stuff, and holidays, and after I was still playing with my club as well and different things. And it was actually funny, I was looking there about a week ago, and I don't know why, but in my Facebook message requests, and one of the one of the actual scouts had reached out to me on via Facebook as well, but because we weren't friends, whatever, it didn't do like spam or didn't do like requests or something. But it was funny, like, because it was like, if I'd have seen that, obviously I would have knew probably a lot sooner, because it was close after the season actually ended. But no, I was in Dubai. I was in holidays. Me and Caitlin and my friend running back to me, obviously county player as well, and then his girlfriend Clara, and we were right there, and I got a call that one of the guys was in Dublin and they wanted to speak to me. So
which club?
That was the Adelaide Crows. Okay. Adelaide Crows, and there was a few others, but again, it didn't. You know, the Adelaide Crows were the ones that showed the most interest. So again, met whenever I came back from Dublin. Then it was just a matter of maybe speaking with them, meeting with them to see what their thoughts were and what they wanted to do. So we done that, and things progressed from there. You know. And
how did they progress? What happened? What did they come? Like, I'm very fascinated to find out what actually happens in these situations, because it does happen to a lot of people from here. Yeah. So they come over to Dublin, they come to see you. That costs a few quid, obviously, you know. And then, like, so what, they come and put something on the table in terms of financially, or in terms of
what they were thinking was, obviously there was a combine that weekend, so they were over there as well. So they started with killing two, no, just then with the doing carrying out two things one time type of thing. So they were there and they wanted to meet up with me as well. But here, listen, they were obviously. You know, the thing for me was I wasn't going out there as a rookie, as an 18-year-old. You know what I mean? I was 24, so I was making sure I was going out there that there was going to be a good deal in place or whatever. And that's kind of what was kind of the case. But there was a lot of stuff they happened. Like they were flying out and they were stay in contact, and there was lots of things to be sorted. But then I think the next step was then for me to come over for a week or two and see how everything was. And you know, obviously you can say you're going on trial and all the rest, but for me I was sort of treating it together. I was going out there to see what it was like, and you know, and obviously try and perform as well. But the thing for me was that, you know, once I finished that, they had wanted me to stay and sign, and obviously then that's whenever I had to kind of make a hard decision then where to stay or go, you know, sort of.
Yeah. And what sort of, how did you make that decision? Was it like sort of write down pros and cons, or was it family or friends, or?
Again, it was just a roller coaster experience, because like, see the many people that were weighing in on it, the media, and then just madness. Even some of the people close to me too were giving me opinions, and you're sitting there thinking like, what is the best thing for me? Because at the end of the day, like, I have to, it's me that matters. And again, I just remember obviously going out there, and I was actually blown away by how, you know, just how the players themselves would live their life. There's a completely different culture over there compared to back here in Gaelic, and you could probably talk about that all day, to be honest. But you know, it's although they're professionals, they're quite different, the Gaelic players too. Like, but
in what way?
Just even like, you know, I know obviously it was pre-season and things, but even just going out like for food and stuff, I was thinking healthiest thing in the menu, and you know, the couple of players that I was with might not have been thinking the exact same as me, you know. But that kind of took me by surprise, because I was sort of thinking like, they're professionals, surely they'll be setting an example here. But I guess maybe, I don't know if that pre-season had a bit to play with it, because the season hadn't started. Or anything like that. But even like, you would chat to, I know Connor's mentioned this, McKenna, about like if there's like 6 or 7 day rule, like if they have no game within 6 or 7 days, they're allowed to go in the beer with the team and stuff, and go celebrate and go head out and stuff. Whereas in back here in the Gaelic, you know, you might be in a drinking ban for, you know, even club level, like you know, you have a championship game in 6 weeks, you're not allowed to take a beer between now and then, do you know what I mean, or just stuff like that. But no, it was a good experience, just getting in and seeing how the professional environment was, you know, in 5 days a week, 2 off. You're in early in the mornings, you were right up in the afternoons, you had your whole evenings to yourselves. You had pit sessions, gym sessions in the same day, you were eating lunch, you were doing recovery sessions, you were doing everything. So it was good to see what that was all about. That I think I would be suited to it, 100%, because even from a training aspect and stuff, when you're in the field, like, you were sort of trying to gauge where you're at. Yeah. But I was doing quite well with that. The first day I actually arrived, they had me doing a 2K time trial. Right. So it was like, I'm only off the plane here. I was like, I'm still probably jet lagged and stuff, but they actually, the way they put it sort of was that they just wanted to, it was like getting it done, just get it done. And you know, we sort of know what sort of time we'd be looking you to do it in anyway, but it was kind of just get it done so that, you know, you're sort of ticking the boxes and then see where things go. But it was a crazy experience. You could probably talk about it all day, to be honest, but it's one obviously then that I thought was right for me here then to stay at home, because you know, I got a good opportunity. We work Keystone Group and all the rest, so that was really important to me. And then, you know, your club, your family, your friends, you know, there's that element of homesickness as well that maybe other players have experienced. So there was just so many, as you said there, like pros and cons. There were so many to weigh up, and then at the end, I think I made the right decision.
You still think that, yeah.
100%, yeah, 100%. Although, listen, it would be probably, you know, it'd be an unbelievable experience to actually. It'd be a challenge more than anything, just with yourself, and you know, it would have been obviously a new life, and obviously if Caitlin or whatever wanted to go over there as well, they were going to look after her and put her in the university and stuff. So there's so many different opportunities which would have availed from that as well. But again, you know, my dream is to win Sam Maguire and climb the Hogan steps, and you know, that's the feeling that I live for, like, and we done that. I just can't help but think if I was an Australian throwing one Sam Maguire, like how you would feel. But no, I says I want to stay, play a big part, and throw one in the Ireland, and we're delighted that happened.
What you done, which is unbelievable. You mentioned there about the drink bans and stuff, and I find this fascinating because people, like, especially in the teams that I'm involved with, automatically if they think to talk about drink, they think like I'm like no, but I'm not a hypocrite, right? Yeah. I drank and I could, like, it's just not for me. Yeah. But and you hear it a lot nowadays too. I actually seen every year nearly a quote comes up from like the Wexford senior hurlers and whenever they play in the Ireland, and the manager comes out and says, you don't understand, some of these lads are off the drink from last Wednesday. Yeah. You know, did you ever see that? Yeah. It's very funny. Or was the Offaly hurlers, one of the two, and I find that very funny, and I don't, like, I'm all for lads going for a pint and having the crack, and because I do genuinely believe that's where the best bonding happens. Yeah. Not going into town and roaming about the streets fighting with people, but sitting in the pub and having a pint or whatever. I do believe that it's great for teams and gelling and coming together. And do you think with the world we're in now, Cathal, like I'm involved with Antrim hurlers, you're involved with the Tyrone footballers, and it's nearly like I don't even think it's not even a conversation now about being on a drink ban, because it's just like an unwritten law. Do you agree with that, or do you think there should be more of a social aspect? Because I know our dads or something, or the older generations would be like, sure, that's all we done, like, and it was great crack and we enjoyed it, and they seem to have enjoyed it, and I think that's a big part. They seem to have enjoyed it a lot more than we do, in terms of the, I don't know, just getting out there and the social aspect of it, and it's two different games now, don't get me wrong, but do you believe in the sort of the strictness, I suppose, if you like, of being a county player now?
Well, whenever I look at myself, you know, obviously, I just think within a team environment too, the more trust you have there, and the more mature your players are, and the more, you know, responsible players are. Like, as in, you know, I've been involved in team environments too that's not even mentioned, like, you know, it's not even mentioned about, you know, having a drink ban or anything like that, because they just know the players are responsible, and they know what's right, and, you know, they kind of know the time frames of games and whatnot, so, you know, you'll do the right thing. But obviously, and sometimes, like, you're maybe experienced, and you might have a couple of young lads in the team maybe coming into a new setup and stuff, and that's both club and county, so it just sort of depends the players you have, the management, and what they sort of set the rules. Like, every management's different, every set of players are different, and you sort of need to gauge it with who you have in front of you and who's there. But like, even just think back to, like, you know, some of the stories you hear back in the clubhouse about you're saying about our dads and stuff. Like, my dad actually never played Gaelic football. He actually reckons if he had got the opportunity, he might have been one of the best or something. But
he might have made it this year.
He might have made it somewhere. But no, like, as in, like, they would tell you stories about maybe going and having drinks for games and stuff, you know, back in the day, like
smoking in the change room
and stuff like that. It's just crazy how it happened back then, and but now, like, it's just, I think it's just more about being responsible as a player and knowing what's right. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, you always have those distractions, you always have those challenges, but deep down yourself, then once, you know, you just need to pick what's best for yourself and what's best for the team. And, you know, then obviously if men are, you know, stepping the line or you know, not adhering to that or not being responsible, and, you know, they're going to suffer consequences then as well. So but no, listen, any team that I've been in, I think that we've dealt with it very well, and there's been that maturity, that responsibility, and that just acceptance from players, what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And but this is the point I'm trying to, like, you still get a lot of joy to that because you're successful and you're doing well. Yeah. And I think this is the thing where people struggle, because they think that we go and do this and we're training flat out and we don't have lives and we're like robots, and that's not the case, because you're there for a reason, because you want to be there and you're enjoying it. And I don't think the older generation can grasp that. They're like, oh, like, you start going for pints, like, you need to be, no. Right. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, it's important. It's kind of I don't know. It's just probably change of generations, and you know, sometimes too. Yeah, it's like whenever I play with Tyrone, obviously work hard, train, you know, 4, 5, 6 nights a week, recovery, gyms, all the rest. So whenever you do get a night out, or you do get to go and have a team bond session, or you do enjoy it, and you make the most of it. Like there's no better, you know, I've had some good nights out even after maybe a successful game in Croke Park in Dublin and stuff, and you maybe get chatting to the other players from different teams and stuff, and there's so many positives from that. But again, it's just knowing when it's right and when it suits everyone, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah, and then you mentioned so off the back of you making that decision to stay in Tyrone and I suppose make a life here, it's obviously not just all about sport, but whereas in Australia it is because you're a full-time athlete, but in the GA you obviously have to have a job and stuff. And you mentioned Keystone. What is your role in there and how's that going?
Well, with Keystone, so basically I deal with the architects on a daily basis. So, well, mainly architects, still deal with builders and homeowners and so on. But basically the role is specification executive manager, and then you're carrying out presentations to the architects. So it's CPDs, but basically you're specifying the product, what we have. And within the Keystone group, you have so many different brands. You have the lintels, you have the IG Mason support, you have Keylight, you have so many. The list goes on. You have Keyfix, a whole lot, but. Even just on, you know, from a mental health aspect, like with Keylight, we're actually, you know, at the minute we're doing every year we kind of do a campaign awareness where we would raise money for a charity. So last year it was children's charities. This year now it's actually men's mental health. And it's men's and women's mental health within the construction sector, because obviously we're involved with the construction sector. We're dealing with people who's involved with the construction sector on a daily basis. So basically this year we're just raising money out around the merchants and whatnot. Where basically there's a challenge and different things. I'm not going into too much detail, but again it's just raising money because people don't speak up enough, and you know the suicide rates in the construction sector have been crazy. They've been through the roof. So if we can help raise money to try and better that, you know, we're delighted. So it's based both in the UK and Ireland, because obviously Keylight too, they're based in the UK as well. So it's been going brilliant so far, and there's so much scope for it. Even just just getting around here in the north and the south and across in England. So we're looking forward to see where that goes as well.
And you get energy out of doing work like that, especially I suppose for charities and mental health charities. Does that help you?
Without doubt, we've been out around merchants, and some of the stories we're hearing from different both men and women, it's been brilliant. And as I say, they're telling me maybe about their past and how they've, you know, now they've overcome it and what they've done to do that and stuff. And whenever you hear those success stories, it's absolutely amazing. But then again, you're also, you know, maybe coming across people that you can offer advice to, and you know, maybe myself being you know, playing for my county, and you know, maybe being a role model within the local areas and stuff, you know, I'd be hoping that people could reach out to me, and even if I can help them or point in the right direction, and you know, I would be happy to do that. But I guess it's always good to hear the success stories, and then you just want to make sure that anyone that is suffering, that they do speak out and they do get that help, and they live a better life, you know. Yeah,
and I think that's very powerful. And I suppose with the world that we live in, like we're the same age, society is scary. Like, and I wasn't strong enough, I suppose, to deal with society and everything that comes with it, and the obstacles of drinking, drugs, and I fell into certain paths. You didn't, and you've done it for a reason, because you had that throne, that focus, that I want to get to the top, I want to do well. You have good people around you. I suppose for people who are sort of at a crossroads, Cathal, would you have any advice for them? I suppose, especially with I talk about it with every guest, like social media, and it's so scary, and you see people, you know, like fishing for likes and trying to get validation. And I spoke to Annette Kelly last week about even in young females, about her dating experiences and swiping left and right and stuff, and validation from young girls and what they have to do in terms of putting on a filter and stuff like that. Like, it happens with men too. Do you know what I mean? It happens with men, and it happens with young footballers, and like they have to be in a certain shape and they have to look good, and and I've spoke about it with Sambo before. Like, the worst thing that ever happened to me was the invention of fucking tight fit jerseys, because I hate it. Do you know what I mean? Because I love a Milky Bar Sunday at a Rappos at the bottom of the giant's foot. Do you know? But that, whatever, like, do you know, and that affects my self-conscious. And I do be sort of paranoid about jerseys and stuff like that, and I'm open and honest about it, because I know there's other people out there who are the exact same. And but is there any advice that you would have for those people who are sort of struggling, because not everyone is as talented, I suppose, as you, and you weren't the most talented person, but you've fucking worked hard, and I know that, and it's always seen it in you, and look where you got to. So I suppose, yeah, for the young person who isn't as talented but wants to be like Cathal McShane, is there any advice that you would give them?
I think you just have to be really, just because like what you tell yourself is basically what you become. Do you know what I mean? And also you have to just have the positive thoughts, and always thinking that what, like, even like some things I even do is just do like a daily journal of, like, just to be, what am I grateful for, and write down 2 or 3 things, and like what I want to happen today, and at the end of the night then I'll fill in what could have went better today. It's just wee simple things, helps you keep yourself correct, like upstairs. Do you know what I mean? And that's things that I think it helps me just focus on the correct things, because you're right, social media, whenever you're flicking through, you see things that maybe distract you, or you pull you into this false sense of security that you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. But I just think that you just need to be happy within, and whatever it is, if it means like meeting the best friend for coffee, or even if you're involved with the club, sitting down with maybe someone important within the club, just to speak things out, because like whenever you're in that situation, you're just putting yourself under more pressure, and the more pressure you put yourself under, the more that builds. Then it's not good. Like, so. For me, it's just about being focused, and I even know sometimes that I would take a break from social media as well, just try and stay off it, and the benefit from that has been brilliant, like, because you just you start to realise there's more important things to life than social media. Because I'm not going to lie, I've sat days, like, say for example, even in lunch breaks and stuff, just sitting on social media flicking through, and I'm like, what benefit is that doing to me? Do you know what I mean? But the only big thing I can say is always just speak out and really ask for that help. But it's like, be your own person too. Don't try and fit in with someone else, because if I try to like, I don't go out to life and try and match myself up with someone else, or I don't go if I was doing something else, try and match someone else. I just be me, and like, I can just think back to minors and stuff whenever I wasn't starting in games, and I went away from that, and I went myself, and I says, I'm going to focus myself. What can I do better? Was it my skills? Was it catching, kicking, whatever it was? Was it gym work? I just focused on me and progressing me, and I do think there's good value in that. Don't try and match yourself up with anyone else. Just focus on yourself and drive the thing on.
Don't compare yourself with other people. I suppose, and I always talk about it, that person looking back at you in the mirror. If you can maximize that person's potential, then you can do anything. And you talked about being able to see things and visualize things, and I'd be a big believer in that too. Like, and I'd be a big believer in the human mind and how powerful it actually is. If I set out to get off the coke and get off the drink, you can do it. Like, if you can set out to win an Iron Matron, get back with that ankle injury, you've done it. You can do it. Anything is possible. And the big message that you're saying there, for even young people, that it's not about other people. It's not about what Sammy or Jimmy or anyone's doing down the street. It's about that person looking back at you in the mirror, you testing that person. And listen, if you don't go on to win Sam Maguire, that's fine. But as long as you can look back again in the mirror and say, do you know what, I tried my best. And there's something special about that, giving it your all, isn't there?
Without doubt, like, as in, again, like, whenever, like, it's always like when you finish the season, you review what you done and stuff, and like, I'll be honest, not every time I set out something, I achieve it, and sometimes then I don't even think about something, I wouldn't have planned it, but it comes my way, and I think that's just meant to be. But it's just thinking, it's really about, as you say, visualizing it, and then obviously just having the positive thoughts. And again, if someone is annoying you in life, or someone's not going well, and do something about it. Like, speak to someone, or try and get that help, and things always will come better, because there is better days ahead, as many people would say. So no, that's all I can say on that. Like, is just reach out and seek that help, like, and talk about it.
What can you switch off from working football and stuff?
I find it quite hard at times, to be honest. I would say, to be honest, since my injury, like, I would say it's kind of been a challenge that I'm still working on at the minute, to be honest, because even from injury, and from even things like just like sleep and just simple things like that, it's all been affected. The way it is, because obviously you go through injury, you're waking up 4 or 5 nights a week, and you go through lockdown, and there's just so much happening and stuff. And I would say now that it's an area that I would need to improve on. Like, it's because people just say, oh, you need to get 8 hours sleep, but it's easier said than done. Like, do you know what I mean?
Tell me about it.
You're not getting in the door from training, and you're not getting all this, but sleep is valuable too, and it's so good for recovery, and it's so good for just being positive, and whenever you're sleeping, getting the correct sleep and stuff, just things come your way better too, I feel, because you're getting up in the morning, you're feeling fresh, you're ready to attack the day, whereas it's different if you're getting up in the morning, you're down, feeling tired, whatever, groggy, it just affects your day. So no, that's something I'm actually working on at the minute, because like, even meditating and things like that, I've tried to add that in as well, because I do realise it's important to switch off and try and take away you know, you can't just be thinking about football 24/7. You can't be thinking about work 24/7. You need to sort of have that chill spot, and there is good benefits in that.
Big time. And how long have you started the meditating?
To be honest, not very. I would say in this last maybe say 6 to 10 weeks. But again, you know, consistent. I'm not consistent with it.
It's tough.
It is tough. It's kind of a thing where, you don't get me wrong, I feel great benefit in it, but again, it's like trying to fit it in. You know what I mean? Because whenever you're maybe coming home from work and you're out to training, do you do it after training, before, and you come in from training, you're maybe, you know, you're looking to get to sleep in bed and stuff. So like it's something that I feel is very beneficial, and have I been consistent with it recently? No, but do I plan to be consistent with it? Yes. Even you mentioned obviously Aussie Rules and stuff. They would have meditation sessions in each morning and things like that as well. So just helps get the best out of you, I think.
I actually came across, I was talking with Sinead Haggerty about this. The first time I came across meditation was whenever I actually went to rehab in Cuamara, and you go and you get up at whatever 6:30 in the morning and you go into this room and you're sitting meditating for half an hour and you picture this, right? 30 lads just off the drugs, off a drink, trying to sit for half an hour like in a room with some music on. It's people are jittering and literally banging their heads against walls because they're not comfortable in their own skin. But as time went on, it was amazing. Like, it was so like therapeutic. It set me up for the day. It cleared my headspace, and if it allowed me to be somewhere else for half an hour where I didn't need to be running and thinking and, you know, beating myself up or feeling sorry for myself. So that meditation is class if you get into consistent. Now, of course, I lost the run of it, but whatever, I'm actually starting back in Cuamara.
At least you know then you can always revisit it. Exactly. The advantages and the perks of it too.
You have the toolbox, I suppose. But no, it's been fascinating talking there, and I suppose I just wanted to ask you, like, what's next? Like, you've achieved your childhood dream of winning Sam Maguire. Like, what's next for Cathal McShane, the footballer, and the person, I suppose? Like, because we're still young. We're only, are you 26 yet?
26, yeah. 26,
well, I'm 25, you're 20. Like, we're still, and that Kelly was saying to me, like, you're a baby, and I was like,
we're still only cubs, but no, like, that's it. It's, you know, setting goals and trying to achieve them and stuff, and that's kind of where, you know, now obviously after that you have to sort of go again. But even like at the minute we're focusing on the club, we're back playing with the club, and just eager to have success there as well. Drive the lads on as best as I can. Try and use my experience, or use, you know, the years that I have there to try and help those men and drive them on, because we have good potential within the club as well to go and have success. Because I've seen yourself have success for your clubs and hurling, and, you know, in many ways I maybe like a wee bit, you know, not jealous, but just like I just see all our boys have success for their club, and you're just watching. Like, we got the championship final last year and beat in the final by a couple of points, and that would have been the first time we won a championship in nearly over 40-50 years. Do you know what I mean? So just really want to try and focus and have good success at the club as well. And then obviously, you know, Tyrone will be starting back up pretty soon, and pretty sharpish as well. So we know last year that we definitely underachieved, and, you know, it wasn't at the level that's required. So we need to go back and reset and go again. But no, just keep pushing on, and obviously you're trying to progress your personal life as well, your house, family, all that sort of things as well. You have to keep the holidays in there as well, and get the odd holiday and stuff. But no, just try to be positive, try and plan ahead, set goals, and try and tick them off. But it's unknown, but again, I look forward to it. Yeah, it's class. And I suppose the big message, like, I could talk to you all day about different things, and all, like, and all I can think back to, I suppose, is the injury the injury that you got, and I suppose all the hard work you put in. For anyone out there who is going through an injury and they're in a bit of a lull period at the minute, because it does happen, like, you went on and you made a massive impact. You come on off the bench, you scored a golden orange final, and you won the All Ireland. Like, I suppose if anyone out there is struggling today or whatever, there's hope, because Cathal done it, and that's like it. And even like, as in, if there's anyone out there that even wants to reach out to myself for advice or anything, feel free, because I'll be more than happy to help. And I think the work you're doing as well is fantastic, and, you know, it's privileged to see your journey too, like, and because, as you say, I remember walking in first day of Samaria, seeing you in the room, PE hall and stuff, and like, as in, that was sort of, you're trying to, you know, figure out people's names and get to meet people and stuff, because I knew I'd seen you before, but your journey's been brilliant, and fair play to you, like. So it's a pleasure for me to be on here today, and, you know, if you can help somebody, if I can help somebody, whatever it is, it's brilliant. But fair play to you, and that's what it's all about. Best luck as well. Thank you. And it's about giving back in at the end of the day. So no, class, Cathal, and thanks very much for coming on. We'll keep in touch, and as
Cathal said there, if anyone is going through that injury lull or whatever, give him a shout, and he doesn't have all the answers, but he's been there and done it. He's wore the t-shirt, so no, powerful stuff, and appreciate it. Cheers, thank you. And a big shout out to Team Kit Ballymena again and the Kearneys for their support. Obviously the sponsors every week, they're coming in and they're contacting me, and it's been very overwhelming. It wouldn't be possible without them. So yeah, check out, I'll tag their pages below, check them out, and they do anything you need, just hit them up and they will sort you out. So shout out to Team Kit and Ballymena again. Thanks very much, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.